inside the tomb. The stone roof supports were weak and collapsing, they protested. He ignored them. Covered in dust and with sweat streaming down his face, Ian crawled forward and squeezed his hulking body through the opening. Inside, nothing but stone rubble littered the dismal space. Crouched in front of the box, he studied its marred Aramaic inscriptions with his flashlight. Dejected, he sat down in the dirt and leaned against the rock wall. Another dead end. The ossuary wasn't the burial place of the Jew he'd hoped to find. Weary, he searched the murky crypt, his flashlight fading. Nothing of significance remained for his troubles. Thieves had stolen everything of value long ago. He sat in the gloomy stillness, as if awaiting the angel of death to appear, in hopes for guidance. The empty coffin reminded him again of why he was there, and why he'd clawed his way into yet another wretched burial chamber. Ian inched his way out of the cramped vault, cursing his hard luck. He'd entered with the hope that his predicament would change, and break the cycle of an endless procession of empty tombs. Gasping for fresh air, he tumbled out of the abysmal hole into the scorching sunlight. Like an itch he couldn't scratch, the Jew's burial site had eluded him from his first days in Palestine. Ian's contract with his employer guaranteed a substantial bonus, but to receive it, the Jew's remains required authentication. With time running out, he'd thrown aside caution and any thoughts of failure, determined not to give up the hunt. He wasn't walking away and leaving a king's ransom. Before the start of World War II, Ian's formidable reputation as a relic hunter for hire had preceded him. Discreet black market patrons sought his services. Incensed, jealous academics branded him a rogue and an unscrupulous profiteer of antiquities. His select clients believed him a man who possessed uncanny abilities, someone they were confident could find and deliver difficult items regardless of peril or location. With the onset of a world at war, his profitable excursions into antiquities came to a halt. His resourceful talents and unorthodox methods caught the recruitment attention of U.S. Army intelligence. Commissioned an officer, the government trained him in the fine arts of a covert operative. He'd excelled as a special mission spy working behind enemy lines. After his discharge at war's end, Ian was anxious and ready to resume civilian life and his once profitable enterprises. He began by locating and renewing old friendships from his former list of wealthy clients and by seeking out new clients. By late August 1946, the lucrative work he'd counted on had disappeared. Past contacts wouldn't return his calls. With his reserve funds dwindling away, his hopes seemed dashed, until he received an unexpected phone call. Abram Solomon, a shadowy figure among world elites and CEO of Solomon Industries, had initiated preparations for a secretive project. He needed an experienced archaeologist, an individual with certain assured talents. Armed with suggestions from discreet private collectors, Abram had compiled a list of potential candidates. Ian's name surfaced again and again. Abram took notice that Ian's impressive qualifications separated him from the mundane, and telephoned him at his apartment in Lower Manhattan. Ian agreed to meet for lunch and discuss the intriguing project, fascinated by what he'd heard from Abram. He hoped he'd masked his excitement over the phone while sensing a potential job opportunity. His limousine ride stopped at a massive 4-story mansion on Abram's Long Island estate. For first impressions, the man's outward possessions made a bold statement, exemplifying extravagant wealth. A servant ushered Ian into the mysterious Abram Solomon's cavernous study. Abram himself was tall, 6'1" or 6'2", Ian had guessed, with tar black hair. Abram's tailored suit made him look thin, but muscular. His skin was the color of light milk chocolate, as if he'd nurtured a perpetual year-round suntan. Abram's personality seemed outgoing, his traits smooth, almost too charming, but guarded, projecting a perceptible eerie sense of dread. Still, Abram's pleasantries and pompous formalities proceeded without incident. He'd served up a magnificent lunch that royalty would have envied. After their lavish meal, Ian had listened to Abram's persuasive sales pitch with a discerning ear, mindful that most of his private clients were wealthy and deceptive by nature. He wondered what other hidden surprises Mr. Abram Solomon concealed. Despite Abram's inspiring presentation, Ian had several issues with the project. The location, Palestine, was a proverbial minefield of trouble. The importance placed on finding and returning the remains of one specific Jew seemed provocative on face value. Abram left Ian with the impression of being disingenuous, as if his motive for hiding his true intent was purposeful. The entire task seemed like a fool's errand, assuming that the